Hey,
Do you see my mic?
whoa, that is
I have my my devices are getting better.
yeah, that's like super pro.
I know. I know. So as I said, unfortunately, last week talk was not recorded.
Yeah, it's all right.
Yeah, it's all right.
Well, the I saw the clips you started making in Instagram. Those were really cool.
Yeah, it's the topology and typology.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, it's fun. It's a bit more complicated than it looks, but I mean, like it's
Yeah,
an
yeah.
AI world, so you think that everything should be easy. I mean, maybe there are easier too, but I just don't know.
Right. Yeah.
But it's fun. It's fun. I posted a second one. I don't know whether you saw it.
Let's. I saw it, but how about we start with that? Like, why don't we show it?
Ah, you mean the but I don't know whether I can
If
show
you
it.
can share.
I think I can. No, there's nothing that I can share. No, there's no share screen in this one.
Well, basically, it was what happens when you Google contemporary architecture and the type of search results that you get, and would
Hmm.
they be different than typing modern architecture?
Right. So it seems not much, right?
Right. And then brings up the point of, does it mean the same thing to say contemporary than modern?
Hmm.
And perhaps questioning the terminology, if modernism is even modernism, or is it just modern? Like, has the word modern changed, or do we need a new word for contemporary?
You know the funny thing is that I mean it, it is obvious that the the terminology modernism. I don't really know when exactly that terminology started to use, but I was going through some of the references for other lecture that I did recently, and
Yeah.
then realized that even the term modern was used in late 1800s or something, right? So
Right.
for them, it's like modern is just modern, right? It has
Right.
nothing to do with modernism, right? But now has become something to do with modernism.
So that's what I was rethinking. Like when we wrote the book,
Hmm.
it was about that issue of the mixing of the term modern with modernism,
Right,
and that modernism cannot be contemporary.
right.
But perhaps the word modern might be
Should be very
contemporary.
generic, and
Yeah.
but but because of the capital M modernism,
Yeah.
now we cannot use modern as modern, right?
Yeah, because I was also seeing that what you were saying of the use in the 18th century, but I think it's even before that they've used the term, or in recent times they've used the term to describe something
Modern,
like even earlier
modern,
than
right?
that, just
Yeah.
to signify something of a change in the times.
Hmm.
Like this is what was happening, and this was the classic way of doing something, and then a new trend, and that's modern,
Right, right,
without any reference of modernism or anything like that. It's just modern.
right, right. So, so I think um, it's it's clear to suspect that the term was used as the as, based on the meaning itself, but now it's a bit different,
Right.
and then that's why I think the term contemporary is used, maybe, right?
Mm.
I mean, I'm not a historian, so I don't know when exactly the term of contemporary came into the architecture field, but
Yeah, that's another one because, or when was contemporary started being used in just in general terms?
do you know whether there's any kind of definition of contemporary architecture uh,
Not that I
as
know.
to differentiate it from modernism or something? I don't know. So I mean, I feel like maybe there is. Again, we're not historian or theorists, so that's why. But
Right.
I don't know whether there's any kind of effort to uh, really define modern and contemporary.
Yeah. Well, and then in our book that we talked about contemporary as an ism, as a style.
Right.
Well, not a style, a language,
Hmm.
because then there is postmodernism, deconstructivism, well, parametricism. There's still styles that are beyond modern. So if it's just about getting away from modernism, then are those styles contemporary?
Mm.
But they are their own styles of a specific era.
Right.
So
No, but and at the same time, I mean, I think, I think the way how we define modernism may not be the same as the constructivist or postmodernist. That's why we are trying to define contemporary architecture in different ways. But I don't necessarily think that, for example, constructivism or not constructivism, sorry, uh, uh, deconstructivism is still part of modern, or postmodernism is still part of modern. I think they're still different, but in our perspective, they're not much.
yeah, they're not much different because they're
Yeah,
still
going beyond.
right,
I still appreciate those efforts, right? I mean,
right,
I think it depends on it. It just depends on the how you define the modernism and how, where you see the essence of the modern language. So depending
right,
on where it lands, then you try to break it or you try to go beyond that part.
right. And at the end, actually, I have the book right here.
I have the book right here.
Now, because I think it would have been great to share the Chicken Boy.
Yeah, I like that one. I like that collage.
Where is
That
the
was
Chicken Boy?
your niece, no?
Yeah, my nephew.
Your nephew. Yeah,
Right.
cute.
And at the end, I think it's about the question of this.
Right, right.
Really.
So is it a boy or chicken? Is it a man or chicken? Question.
Right. So I think it's about authenticity of what you are doing.
Hmm.
Because sometimes, let's say when I'm teaching a course on subjects from the book,
Hmm.
and if it is about contemporary architecture,
Hmm.
and then students start questioning, well, then is modernism evil or is modernism bad?
Well, was that a question? Was
Well,
that a
not about
real question?
evil, but yeah, like is it bad? Is it?
Oh, why are you trying to break in and go beyond? Right.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
was
yeah.
that's
Right, 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 right. In that sense.
the reaction, right?
So I think well, in response, it's like no, you can still have
Hmm.
good modern buildings.
Hmm.
Like you can still have good architecture that is modern. So the question, it kind of comes to, how do you know that you're doing good architecture or bad architecture?
Hmm.
Or how would you criticize, is that building good or bad?
Hmm.
Um, I think if you know that you're making a modern building and make a decent modern building, it can still be a good building.
Yeah, I mean, of course.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's, I think that's the main distinction of people saying that it's a contemporary building, not realizing that it's a modern building and thinking that it's going somewhere innovative or beyond, but it's actually just doing the same thing and not recognizing
Hmm.
the the chicken boy costume.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think, I mean, we haven't lived, like beginning of 20th century, but I can imagine that there might have there have not been there might have not been a question of this chicken boy 100 years ago, right? Because
Right.
it's all essence. All the modern language is for essence, right? It's pure.
Right.
It's essence. There's no kind of there's no like a additional mask that fake the
Right.
language. But now, 100 years after, there are fake ones, right?
Right. Do you think that happened also when things change, let's say, from I don't know, classicism to the next style?
Yeah. The the lecture that I just mentioned that I had to do few days ago. I also went through the avant-garde era in the Soviet Union.
Oh.
Uh, so that was right after the the October Revolution in 1917, I think, right? But then when you read the text of that era, it's all about, okay, how do we cut out the past, which was mostly the classicism, and then
Mm.
start a new one. That that's when the constructivism comes out. But at the same time, interestingly, uh, avant-garde means that there have there have been multiple discourses at the same time that they coexisted. So that there are some discourses on classical or neoclassical architecture. There are some discourses in the academias focusing on the constructivism or modernism, which modernism and constructivism were somewhat considered similarly because it's cutting the bridge from the past. And there are some other parts which went on to the socialist realism. So they all coexisted, right? But then the modern or the modernism or constructivism, which is why the constructivism is still in a big umbrella, is still under the modernism. Their discourse was trying to get away from the past, obviously.
Mm.
So I think, yeah, I mean, you're right. I think in the past, in the history of architecture, there there was this type of effort of, okay, how do we disconnect ourselves to
Like a clear distinction of, okay,
clear
no
distinction.
longer.
I think that's more obvious than ever, right? Because it was, I mean, just as the industrial revolution was, how to say, it was actually the biggest revolution in human history, right?
Mm.
So the that clear distinction is influenced by the industrial revolution, of course, which is why it's more distinctive than, let's say, between, let's say, uh, Gothic and Renaissance, or Renaissance and neoclassical architecture type of
Mm.
thing. So they still have some flow of the past, but I think from modern, uh, the distinction
Yeah, I
is
think
yeah.
in that speculation of the linkage between industrial revolution and architecture, the linkage of construction technology
Hmm.
to style,
Hmm.
I think perhaps that plays that role as well. That if you could only do load bearing,
Hmm.
yeah, you could only produce certain type of spaces. And now with technology in fabrication and different materials, you should be able to experiment in all these different types of forms with the aid of computer, of CAD, computer aided design. Then is everything becoming like, because there's so many or so few limitations and so many possibilities, is that the new style? Just
Yeah, yeah, maybe.
the
I mean, it's
non-style style.
yeah, it's a. I mean, we are living in a postmodern period, not in terms of architectural style or language, but as a philosophy, it's
Philosophy.
yeah. So basically, I think what we are trying to argue. I mean, I think we have discussed it earlier as well. That we're not trying to say that this is the only kind of ism that
Mm,
that this
right, right.
contemporary architecture should follow. But I think this is one of many ways to understand the modern or modernism and
Mm,
also uh, contemporary architecture in relation to the modernism, right?
yeah.
I don't know. To be honest, I mean, it's just a self-complimentary thing, but I think just uh, the fact that we have somewhat made a thread uh, between all these let's say contemporary projects uh,
Right.
and try to let's say try to analyze or try to how to say try to frame all these efforts of a certain contemporary architectural projects into certain way. I think that's already a uh, very worthy effort. I think.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's the issue of how do you get a sense of what is it that you're doing in today's landscape of architecture when you can do anything.
Right. Because I
So
mean, yeah.
how do you attach yourself to a lineage of some type of study that I guess at least gives you a direction of what to investigate?
Right. So I think one good thing of this book is not about a certain star architect, right?
Mm,
It's about a certain project. So we're not trying to, for example, when Philip Johnson curated the exhibition of the constructivist
mm,
architecture, right? He wanted to define or argue that these are were there seven or eight, whatever. These
yeah.
are the architects who define uh, the architecture differently from modernism type of
Mm,
thing. So it was mostly about the architects.
mm,
But I think we didn't write that way in our book, but as a basis, we had that sort of mind that we only focus on certain projects rather than architects, right?
Right.
So maybe Toyohito has certain projects that that can fall into our frame, but we're not saying that Toyohito is the whatever
Yeah,
center,
the canonical figure.
right? So
Yeah, no, I think it's more
not
of
that I'm saying that
the
I don't respect him, but
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
we all respect him,
Yeah, no,
but
it's more of all the general efforts that we can see,
uh,
and we cannot actually, yeah, we cannot see what we don't know. So there are a lot of other projects that would have been good to include
mhm.
that now I'm remembering. Uh, but yeah, I think it's more about understanding that there's all these efforts around the
Right,
world,
right,
and how do you link them?
right. Yeah, it's a linkage between projects, not between architects.
Right, right,
Because I think, I mean, to be honest, there's some fatigue in me that that we study in the era of star architects, right?
right.
So everything was about understanding the architects.
Mm,
So, but now I think our effort was more about understanding each project and then try to make relationship between the projects.
right. I think when you're trying to understand just one singular architect, it becomes about the almost like the trick.
Ego, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah, or the ego. Like this is the architect ego, or
right,
the architect's ego, or the trick that he uses to make his signature or her signature. But if it is about, if you try to understand just the architect as a signature, it becomes very monotone,
hmm,
as opposed to if you try to understand a project for the efforts of how to produce break in the system or something new, then you can start linking all these projects around the world that have similar conditions without the ego of the architect.
right.
All right.
So people should read it more.
Yeah.
So do you teach a course on this topic?
Uh, I haven't this year.
Uh-huh.
I did at Hanyang,
Yeah, yeah, you did in the
but next semester.
I think we should always try to. I mean, we
Yeah.
should also update things.
Yeah. Update.
Yeah,
Yeah, because I have the same things from like
7 years ago.
for a while. It's always building up from like RISD lectures.
No, but I mean, you know, I think maybe it's mostly because we have that kind of framework that we
Mm,
try to use when we understand an architecture. But actually, when you see many, let's say, young architects' projects, I can see that they are somewhat trying to to break certain rules that we were insisting in our book
mm,
that have to
right.
be broken, right?
Now the question is, do they know that they're breaking the rules? Do they know that they're part of like some study, or is it becoming? I think it's like what you one time explained to me from a class that you took with Muneo
Hmm.
about
You mean
the
I took
diagram.
a class with Moneo?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he was my classmate.
Ah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
or of Moneo.
Oh, well, he was teaching you,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
of the diagram in
yeah,
architecture,
yeah.
and how it's becoming repetitive because they're using the same idea of the diagram.
Hmm.
So you just get honed in on some notion of a diagrammatic move, and then you think you're doing something innovative, but it becomes something repetitive that somebody else has done, or a strategy that somebody else has done, or um, a collection of similar projects around the world because they're all following an idea of a diagram of
I
some
think
specific diagram.
I think that's what exactly happened in postmodernism. That
So yeah, yeah, good.
because in the beginning, when you read Venturi's complex and contradiction,
Yeah,
yeah,
complexity and contradiction.
complexity and contradiction of architecture or in architecture, it was more about criticizing monofunctionality of modernism
Mm,
and, and how things can be very ambiguous and have multiple meanings in one space or one architecture, whatever those type of thing. It had nothing to do with the the style of it. But then once the postmodern or postmodernism hit the field, then people just follow, or people just made their own rule again,
mm,
and then they just repeat it, right? So then it becomes a style, right?
right,
So
right. So yeah, I don't know
so
if
maybe
now,
so now it will become a style again.
yeah, like it could be okay. People are using Grasshopper, so everything is based on
The
the
code.
scripts that you, or the definitions you can get from, yeah, from Grasshopper, and that's it. So it becomes a something that, well, the tool is available for everybody, so you can start seeing the pattern repeat around the world.
Mhm. Yeah, but as I said before, now I'm not even, I would say, I'm more curious about the definition of architecture now.
Mm,
So
the definition,
I mean, the definition may be the same, but the way how we,
yeah,
uh,
how you can talk about it, or
right? I mean, the like like the ones that we discussed last week, but which we didn't record, but
mm,
something like that. That I mean, all these let's say arguments
mm,
or discourses uh, may be under the umbrella of something that we say that we have to break, right?
mm,
So basically, we said or we say that the paradigm of architecture has to be shifted, but I think uh, I think maybe we have to think even a bigger paradigm.
mm,
So it's not about modernism. It's not about contemporary language. It's not about classical postmodernism type of thing. So okay, what's the meaning of the existence of architecture
mm.
type of thing? So so yeah, that's I mean again we can talk about that later, but
Mm. All
maybe
right,
I'm just having a midlife crisis. That's
midlife crisis.
yeah. But anyways, it was a good 30 minutes conversation.
Yeah, and
Buy
you
this
can find it
book.
all. You can find it all here.
Yeah. How do I put a link on the? No, I was trying to put all these.
I'll just say like this.
Yeah. Yo, what's the wooden piece on the back?
Ah, yeah, those are from Super Maneuver. I'm sharing the office with.
Ah,
Yeah,
you guys have a very good let's say shop.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I did this one. Oh, can't
Oh,
see it.
nice. Is it his or did you print?
No, this one's mine.
Oh, nice.
Printing
That's
stuff
for
every
your
day.
that's your pillow or
It's a Korean. It's a new version of a Korean pillow.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It sounds it looks like cool.
So, well, yeah, this is not part of the architecture, but I went to the Korean tourism
Yeah, yeah,
organization.
yeah.
And yeah, it was a bit weird.
Hey, did you talk anything about AKF with John?
Not really. We just had dinner and we're like, we should talk about the AKF, and I was like, okay, yeah, sure.
Let's talk about AKF, but what are you gonna have?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So
Or
it was
cheaper.
like, I think we should remember that we need to talk about the AKF. Like, yeah,
Oh,
let's get together.
so I'm preparing something with Heidi,
Uh huh.
which if we get it, I think we can have you involved. So
Hmm.
the idea is basically uh, Australian design something and we manufacture it here,
Oh, yeah,
and then do some sort of a placemaking type of event for the public.
yeah,
So
yeah.
basically, making the so basically we're what we're trying to say is that we're trying to build the networks between the urban makers of the two
Hmm.
countries. So basically, uh, it can be multiple year project, but the first year can be okay. Designed by Australian, made in Korea. It's
Right.
a catchphrase thing. And
I
then
mean, it's a you can apply up to a 3 year
yeah, up to
uh,
3 year.
thing, 3 year term, like 50,000 a year.
Hmm.
So it could be something like that. Like, okay, if it's designed here, fabricated in Korea, the first
Yeah,
year, second year, designed in
yeah,
Korea,
or
fabricated
vice
in
versa.
Australia,
So
and then the third year, money in the bank.
yeah, yeah.
No,
So
and the
yeah,
third year becomes conference or something.
something like that. Uh, Heidi knows some professors, two professors in Monash.
Mm.
So we have to.
Well, Haewon is still in Monash.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But
Or
I
did
don't
she
know
quit?
whether she's still in Monash.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I think she permanently moved there. No.
I think so, but then she's like half of the year she's in Korea. I think.
I think she has a very good contract. That
Yeah,
that's what she said. That she has a
like a
little
non-teaching contract or something like
yeah,
that.
there's little obligation in teaching.
that sounds that sounds like a good teaching job.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
So yeah,
anyway, so that's
Haewon
a
and
very rough, brief idea. Uh, so we can hold placemaking events as well as
mm,
a symposium, but then the placemaking events can be prepared between the urban makers of the two countries. So yeah,
mm,
first first year, let's say the designers from Australia,
yeah,
makers
yeah,
from Korea, they collaborate, type of thing.
right, right.
So yeah, it could be.
Yeah, that's good. Well, if you have people from Monash, maybe RMIT might be a clash
Why?
because they're both in Melbourne. I don't know if that would be.
Ah, no, 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 no. I mean, come on.
Who
And
knows?
also, as I said, it's Heidi who's doing it.
Ah,
I don't know what she's doing, but
okay, okay,
yeah.
all right.
I just heard
No, but
about.
that sounds like a good one. Like it's
Yeah,
very
yeah,
straightforward, and I think the more straightforward it is, the better for them.
yeah, yeah. No, the only reason why we say Monash was that there's a professor who's dealing with the urban production quite deeply.
Ah, okay,
Yeah, he's not an architect, but yeah, he's a super into
all right, okay. I'm
so he organized a conference or something, and then Tally, our friend Tally, was part
she's
of it as
going.
well. So
Okay.
so he's still kind of he's already that sort of
Making the network.
cloud, yeah, that
Mm.
which we that's another homework that we should do.
Yeah, got so
Bring
many.
all these people related to the urban production and then do something.
I met with Sylvia as well in Brisbane,
So is she
and
releasing more crocodiles in the sea?
no, but they also want to do an AKF, um, the Australia Korea Foundation grant that she asked John, and then John said no
But
because this no because this one's a bit more specific, still within production, but more about food production, and John didn't want to do that topic.
again,
So, but this is something that she wanted to do. So, like, this is coming more from Sylvia, um, but that potentially could be another kind of Australia Korean Foundation thing of food production. I haven't talked to her about it again, so I don't know where that's going. But um, apparently, there's some new. Now I can't even remember the name. I had never heard of them, but there's like these new campuses in Korea, in the middle of nowhere, that just have to do with like um, super high tech food production. I don't know if you know them or not. Like it has like a very sophisticated name, like something like Food Tech Lab or something like that. And it's these kind of mega campuses or micro cities of food production. So apparently there is a contact at University of Queensland that's dealing with them. So somehow doing something around food.
hmm
But again, it's very ambiguous. So I don't know. That's what I'm saying. Like the more clear it is, I think it's the best chance. I think
yeah,
the placemaking sounds way more clear.
because it's the juries are not in architecture field, so
No, they could care less about the jargon or and yeah. All right,
all right, good talk.
maybe I'll try to talk to John again to remind him that we should talk.
Yeah.
All right,
Okay,
all
good.
right. See you.
Have a good weekend. Bye.